Hello, my friends. Let's talk about X-linked recessive disorders and their pedigree features. As you can see here in the pedigree, it's showing us a rare, well, a recessive disorder. I guess it would be rare. Most of them are. And again, whoever is colored in has the disorder, and it's the little a, correct, because it's recessive. So this male has a disorder because he has one little a and a y. This child is a male, so must get the y from dad, which means gets an X from mom. Mom married in. She's totally normal, not a carrier. That means this son is totally fine. This daughter, however, is a carrier, right? This guy here, one of these, she has to be this. Her probability is 1. This male marries in, normal, and then passes the Y to his sons, his X to his daughters, and then it's a 50-50 chance who gets which X. So 50%, or half the males, this is just the probability here they're showing, will get the bad little a, half will get the good big A, so half of the males will be sick, none of the females will be sick, one or half of the females will be a carrier. So if we go through the rules, none of the progeny of the affected male show the phenotype. That is true, correct? True. Yes, I like what you've done here. All of the daughters of the affected male are carriers. Yes, they have to be. All the daughters get the X with the little a and another X from mom. If mom married in and is normal, has to be a carrier. Will not have the disease, but has to be a carrier. What else? Daughters will show the phenotype only if both mom and dad have the allele and both happen to be passed. None of these show that here. Right? That would be the setup. Like, mom would have to be a carrier, and dad would actually have to have it. That's the only way the daughters could both end up with the X and the little a. Let's move on, shall we? So here we go. Here's our little example. They're telling us who the carrier is here, so you can follow it through this example. In this case, mom's a carrier, dad's totally normal. So what would dad be here? What's dad? What's dad? Huh? What's mom? What's mom? What? Yes. That's a carrier, that's dad. Dad passes his Y to his sons, his X to his daughters. Mom passes one of the X's to the son. Which one? This one or this one? He has the disorder. Yes, it's this one. What about this girl? What'd she get? Yeah, she had to have that one too in order to be a carrier. 50-50 chance if you get this one or this one for both of these guys. The probability. Marries in, has to be normal, unless one of the kids negates that. Nobody does. Mom is a carrier, right? So mom is the same here. What's dad? He has to be normal. Passes. Again, this one to this son. Which one to this son? Yep. What about this daughter? Well, they don't tell us she's a carrier, so we're guessing this one and this one. Since they showed the rest of them as carriers, this one's not. She's totally normal. That means she must be this. Right, she marries in, she has to be that also. We know this guy. And then we know these, and we know these, because they're telling us, right? So here's what we think. An affected male does not pass the trait to his sons. The trait, because the affected male has the problem on his X, and the Y goes to the sons. Men never ever pass an X to their sons. Boys only have one X. They got to get it from mom because they have to get the Y from dad. Can pass the allele to the daughter, who then is a carrier. Yes, yes. And then can pass it to their sons who are affected. Who are affected. They didn't finish that. That's okay. We know what they mean. Right? They have it. They're sick. X-linked recessive traits appear more frequently in males. So the first thing you do, that would help you make the assumption. You see a bunch of males that are colored in and no females, and I'm not gonna tell you who's a carrier. You got to figure that out based on the boys, but that would be your first assumption. You look at it, see lots of males, see if it works for X-linked. Usually recessive, otherwise you'd see it in the females too, and then that would be really hard. What else? This is just a large. It's a real pedigree of the British, well, the royal families in Europe. And here you see the British royal family down here. And you can see these are the hemophiliacs. So it was carried in the royal family. And I'm not sure if they're showing, they don't do the double lines. But as you can see, if you look carefully, lots of relatives kind of interbred, right? The royal family, you're only allowed to marry other royals, and if you were all started from the same bloodline, then it's kind of a problem. Okie dokie, that's enough of that. Here's something that's really easy to see. Sorry, this was just PowerPoint turned to PDF that went awry. So let's figure out what this says. Affected males pass the allele, not the trait, just the allele, which would be what? That, to all their daughters, but none of their sons. The allele, right? Who do males pass the Y to the sons? Never an X. Affected females pass the allele to all their sons. Affected females, right? She would be that, and all their daughters. Because each one's got an X. It's a 100% chance you're going to get the little A if mom had it, because she's homozygous recessive. For heterozygous female carriers, they can have passed the allele to half their sons and half their daughters. Pass the allele. The sons that get it have it. Trait, the sickness, the affected, whatever. The daughters are carriers unless dad had it and passed it to them too. Live it, learn it, love it. X-linked dominant traits don't skip generations. No dominant traits really do, right? We've seen that before. Affected males pass the trait on to all their daughters and none of their sons. Again, now this is the sick guy, and he looks like that. All the daughters get one of his X's, and all the sons get the Y. The Y is fine. It's the X that's the problem. It's dominant. So what you see is what you get. There's no carriers in dominant diseases. There's nothing hiding. You have it, so you see it all over the place. You see it in males and females. So it's really hard to tell if it's X-linked dominant versus regular dominant, but you can figure it out if you work really hard at looking at really who doesn't have it and who has it, because it does avoid the males when in a regular dominant disorder the males would not be spared. So in the case of an X-linked dominant trait, it's likely that you'd see less males affected than in in autosomal dominant. In X-linked dominant. That make sense? Okay. What else? Ooh. Quickly, males inherit genes on the different region of the Y chromosome, blah, 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 right? We have a little bit of Y. The SRY gene that causes maleness is on it. And anything else that is on the Y that's not on the X, we would call Y-linked. Otherwise, there's no Y-linked genes that are convincingly associated with non-sexual phenotypic variants. So we're not going to worry about Y-linked because we're not going to have those. Because the only example is really the SRY gene and some of the other maleness. But obviously, the fathers transmit their Y to their sons. You can never get a Y from your mom, so all your Y genes always come from your dad. Y-linked traits appear only in males, obviously, so if this was something else, not necessarily SRY, but something else that we don't know about but could exist, here's what it looks like. If it only could exist and we don't really know about it, then we don't care. Or at least I don't care. Sorry. Done. Boom. Last, here's just some tables with the rules. Live it, learn it, love it. More rules. Live it, learn it, love it. And then here we go. Let's do an upload. Upload homework. To upload HWXPed in Friday, October 13th. I'd like you to tell me what it is. It's a rare disorder. Is it dominant? Is it recessive? Is it X-linked? Is it autosomal? How do you know? Why? And add as many genotypes as you can. What do you think? Some males in there, skips a generation. All right, guys, good luck. Thanks so much, and see you soon.